Hi. So it would have been yesterday morning now. I was listening to an audio Bible and it was going through the story of David when Saul was hunting him and where he had an opportunity to kill Saul, and I guess it would have been self-defense. But instead of that, he tore a piece off his garment so that he could then later, well, I assume it was so that he could then later, but he did either way, took that piece later and said, look, I had the opportunity to kill you. I didn't do that. I am not out to get you. Let's be peaceable. And the reason why he didn't do that, against the advice of his, friends and all of that, was because even though David had been promised the kingdom by God, he had respect for the fact that God had anointed Saul as king and said, no, Saul has been anointed by God. God will deal with it in his time. I'm not going to take over and do things my way to try and fulfill God's plan. And that story can be found in 1 Samuel 24. It may start a little bit before then, but I know that particular section was in 24. Then I started thinking about the contrast between that story and then, say, the story of Abraham and Hagar. So God had promised that Abraham would be a father of many nations. And then Abraham's wife, unable to have children and old, said, look, you can't have children with me, so take my handmaid slave. They weren't really slaves back then, I don't think, but there might have been some, so don't quote me on that. Take her and have children through her, sort of on my behalf. And that's what they did. And then God, some time later, came back and said, no, it's going to be with your actual wife. Have some faith in what I say. I can do whatever I say I'm going to do. And he did. But at the same time, the interesting thing is that little mistake, I guess you could say, has caused millennia of issues since way back then, because they didn't believe that God was going to do what he was going to do without them trying to make it come about through means which were not promised to them. And at least in our time, and I would assume back then, weren't exactly 100% lawful. I don't really, that bit I'm not 100% sure on, but yeah, was not a good idea. So, moral of the story is, don't try and get what you want or what you should have, what you think you should have, through means that are not righteous. God is strong enough and big enough to bring about what needs to be brought about through righteous means. We don't need to help him. So hope you enjoyed the story, and I will catch you next time. God bless. Bye.